Can I play the intro?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. We are here today to talk about Memorial Day, parades, and patriotism. We've got a lot to unpack in today's episode, but I'm looking forward to talking about some of the forgotten history about Memorial Day. So I'm excited to bring that to the table and have a discussion about that, and just talk about some of the interesting quirks and things about U.S. culture when it comes to parades, holidays, and patriotism. So should be a fun episode today. So without further ado, I'm very excited to bring on my co-host and my partner in crime, or maybe today my partner in patriotism. We'll see. Without further ado, my good buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hello, Chad. Hello. Thanks for reminding me that Memorial Day is coming up, by the way. No idea until he said, hey, let's do Memorial Day as an episode. I'm like, oh, when's Memorial Day? I'm like, oh, okay, that's on Monday. Good to know.
Do you have the day off, right?
Of course I do. Does any, I mean, besides for like service industry, does any place not give you the day off, really?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I mean,
thought
it's
you had all
a
the
national
facts.
holiday.
Didn't you say that in your intro? No, you didn't. You said you didn't say
I did
that.
not say I had all the
Sounds
facts.
like something
'cause
you
I
would
certainly
say,
do
so I
not.
just figured you did say it. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the pod. Welcome back to you, Chad, by the way. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll
Back
see
in civilization.
some pictures from Chad's last trip on our Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Or maybe he'll tell us about it in a 10-tweet thread about his adventures in the woods on Untranslatable 1.
I know how to tweet.
The number 1. Yeah, because tweeting is so difficult to figure out. No one could ever figure out how to tweet. It's damn near impossible. I don't understand why they don't make it easier. No one could ever figure out how to tweet.
It's not like you can do it directly from a phone.
How was your trip, dude? Welcome back.
It was great, man. Yeah, so now I can check off 2 Michigan state parks in terms of places camped at and visited.
What state park was this?
This was a Waterloo recreational area.
Okay.
And we were at the Central Portage Lake area. And that was the lake where we went for a little swim. I got a little bit too much sun. You can't really see
Do you put on
it.
sunscreen? No.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Of course, you're
yeah.
very cautious. What am I thinking? I'm sorry.
Come on, Jared. Jeez. Yeah, of course I
You
did.
had SPF 1000?
Well, no, I messed up. I didn't realize it was, I thought it was SPF 30. It turned out it was SPF 15. But
Does
I did
nothing.
get slightly
I don't
burnt
know.
on my forearms and my shoulder a little bit, and my schnoz. But otherwise, overall, it was a great trip. Got to spend time with my sister, her partner, and my nephews, which was fantastic.
Did you not embarrass yourself in front of the family, by the way?
No, I mean I
All of
didn't
it, everything
get
went
so
smoothly?
schmammered. I
No,
fell in the bonfire,
Jeez, I'm talking about as far as your mobile van setup goes. I'm not talking about did you avoid getting so hammered that you fell onto children and a punch someone in the face. I'm saying as far as your van life situation goes, was your presentation of your van up to your liking? Did you feel like
Well, Jared, this time the battery didn't die.
Okay,
so
that's a good
plus.
start.
Didn't need a jump, so that's a plus.
good start?
Yep. Well, it was interesting, Jared, because my sister and my sister and her wife, they have a camper that they bought, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And it's like I think it's a 20-something footer. It's a nice camper.
Impressive
Room
piece
for
of kit. As far as space goes, obviously it's hard to compete with.
I mean, room for 4 people. You could fit 6 in there.
Damn.
It'd be a little close, but you could fit 6 in there.
If you're having some fun,
so-
you could fit 7, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Sleep in the bathtub, you might be able to fit 8. You never know.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was great. The funny thing was though, Jared, is this trip wasn't as much really camping as the last one because I pretty much got there, got out my cooler and some stuff that we were going to use later for the campfire. Like I brought the firewood and some other stuff, so I got all that stuff out of the van, and that's pretty much it. So last weekend,
What do you mean?
Sorry,
oh,
2 weekends
they
ago now.
took care of everything else, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, because they have a full fridge, they have a microwave, a stove,
right, air fryer,
all that stuff. Not this time, but maybe I'm sure it'll be an addition at some point. But it was great though, dude. We got to go swimming, hang out for a while. Went to my nephew's soccer game. They ended up playing a team that I'm not gonna lie. The team they played was, I think, they had more talent on the team, or just a couple better players. But my nephew's team ended up winning 2-1. My nephew scored one of the goals, and he also made the play in the box that actually drew the penalty shot for the next goal.
That's a good feeling.
Yep.
Whew.
I was jumping up and down, dude. Woo! It was just great. It was a good time.
That goal scoring
Made me a
moment
proud uncle.
I can imagine. Did you yell for you? He was like, yeah, go. I don't know, what is it? Hayden, Cody, something like that.
Aiden, Jaden,
Go Cody.
Braden,
go Braylon.
Caden.
Woo! Yeah, that's my nephew out there. Were you doing stuff like that?
No, well, I was just like, I was just screaming, yeah, and good job.
Listen, that's okay.
And then afterwards, though, when he finally got subbed out, gave him a high five on the bench and said, "Good job." Okay. That was a proud uncle moment for sure, though, dude. It was a good goal too. What happened was, one of his teammates had passed it and then went to shoot it, and it kind of deflected, and then he chipped it over the goalie and went in. It was a nice goal.
That's a finesse shot. The chips are, unless you know what you're doing, can be a little bit more sporadic of a shot.
Right.
That's an impressive shot. I will say this for a child.
I will say this too. Both my nephews are solid soccer players, and I'm not just saying that because they're my nephews, but they're both on pretty decent teams and they do pretty well.
I mean, you do have the evidence to back it up. One of them scored this weekend and set up the other goal. So
yep. Well, and he's playing either 1 year or 2 years up, like kids who are older than him.
Ah, yes.
He is by far the smallest kid on the field. That's the kind of the funny thing is he's by far, like when you look, he's one of the shorter ones, but I think, in my opinion, he's one of the most tenacious. And he's so I'm really proud of him. And it was a good weekend.
This is honestly making me sad because I feel like nothing makes me miss youth more than soccer.
Good soccer game.
Yeah, I think,
dude, we could sign up for a summer league.
We're
true. Vaxxed.
That's true. I mean, that is true. I did say, I have been saying forever that I wanted to do that. And I think
we're both in Michigan. We could play on a team.
All right, let's look into that.
That would be fun.
Write yourself a note because I'm not going to do it. I mean, you're not going to do it either. Let's be honest. I'll do it. Hey, by the way, I have we haven't played this game in a while, but I would like to play a game.
Read the apology.
Yes, are you interested?
Yes.
No,
of course, I'm interested.
This is quite the apology. I don't even. Oh man.
Woo! Here we go. It's been a while.
All right. I didn't even save the whole article, but I don't really need it. It's not necessary. So, have you heard about John Cena being in the news recently?
Of course.
Okay, I would like to get your opinion on this, obviously.
Okay.
And I have the clip though, which we have to play. Obviously,
ooh, we for sure have to play.
John,
should we play the clip before we give our? Maybe we should play the clip before we give our 2 cents.
Of course. I'm just going to read the title. John Cena apologized in Chinese on what's Sina Weibo. I know what Weibo is.
That's Weibo.
But what's Sina? S-I-N-A? Is that like his Weibo's channel or something?
No. I think that might be like their television, like C-SPAN,
okay.
like the C Network.
I thought maybe that's how. I thought maybe it was like a specific like channel on the social media site for Cena, and it's S-I-N-A, which is not how you spell John Cena. I thought maybe that's like the phonetic translation or something. Anyway, John Cena apologized in Chinese on Sina Weibo after calling Taiwan a country during an interview promoting Fast and Furious 9. Mm-hmm. Now, I think at this point they need to start apologizing for the fact that there's this many Fast and Furious. But
yep, I agree.
We'll get to this apology first. Let me play this.
你好，中国，这是叫西娜。
Can you pause it? Hold up.
Pause it. Okay.
Yeah, pause it. I want to translate some of it. I understood the beginning. So I think he said hello China.
I do have the translation.
中国, or no, and then he said, "I'm John Cena." Okay, continue. That's probably all people can translate.
All right.
Anyways.
I'm not going to stop this every 3 seconds for you to
go ahead, play it.
barely translate it.
I just
你好，
sorry,
中
Jared, I
国，
got
我是
excited.
乔西娜。我必须说，现在在《速度与激情》中，我做很多采访，很多。所以在一个采访，我有一个错误，所有人问我，如果我可以用中文，速度与激情中人给我很多资讯 information。所以很多采访，很多 information。
All right, it's a minute long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. That was 30
Right.
seconds in. You get the point. He's speaking in what seems like not that bad
that's
Chinese.
interesting. I mean, it's not terrible. Well, if you ask a Chinese person that, they probably have a different opinion.
I mean, I'm
but
sure it's not
sounded
amazing.
okay.
But
Can you read the translation
Sure.
for the people, Jared?
So WWE star John Cena issued an apology to Chinese fans after calling Taiwan a country in a movie promotion interview. I'm just going to read a little bit, give you a little more backstory. The 44-year-old American who made the comment on Taiwanese broadcasting network TVBS during a promotional tour for the Hollywood blockbuster Fast and Furious 9 posted a video messaged on Sina Weibo clarifying his comments, though he did not directly mention Taiwan or its relationship with China. So what he did say essentially was that Taiwan is going to be the first country that's going to get to see Fast and Furious 9. Hi, China. This is John Cena. Hi, China. I'm John Cena. I'm in the middle of Fast and Furious 9 promotions. I'm doing a lot of interviews. I made a mistake in one of my interviews. Everyone was asking me if I could use Chinese. Chinese staff. Chinese. Sorry, they're kind of like Chinese movie staff. Everyone's asked me if I could use Chinese. Movie staff gave me a lot of information. So there was a lot of interviews and information, said Cena, who started learning Mandarin to help his wrestling promotions integration in China. He has since gone viral many times for his enthusiastic Mandarin speaking abilities. I imagine Chinese people love that, the fact that,
For sure.
Because because as you said, he might not be so good to the point where it's like I can't even tell, but he's good enough to the point where people can understand him, and I think that's
I can put some respect on it.
That's very, I think, very impressive for a celebrity.
Mandarin's tough.
Yeah, and so I could see
got
how
some of the tones right.
I could see how that could really help his brand and public image in China. The fact that he not only makes an effort, but is actually understandable.
Now here's the other issue though too, Jared. With
I'm not done by the way, but please go ahead. There's more to the quote.
All I want to say
please.
is if you're a big public figure like John Cena, you can get in a lot of trouble in the Chinese government's eyes if you say a statement like that.
What do you mean by trouble? How is he going to get in trouble? Because it's not like he's beholden to them. Maybe it could hurt his brand or his image.
But I guess that's what would happen.
Okay. When I hear trouble, I'm like, he couldn't get in legal trouble for this because he's an American. But
but if he went to China, if they really wanted,
he's too rich and too popular,
too powerful. You think so?
I'm not saying he'd be welcomed in China.
I mean, it'd be foolish.
I'm not saying he'd be welcomed in China, but you make it seem like as soon as he gets off the plane, they're going to be cops waiting for him at his private jet and be like, "You're coming to prison with us." I don't think there's any way that would happen.
Well, first of all, Jared, they won't be able to see him because he's John Cena.
I never understood that. Like, I just know that's a thing, but I
think
never.
It's his wrestling thing.
Okay,
I think
I know he does
something.
that thing with where he puts his hands in front of his face.
Yeah,
and I think that is that to symbolize like he's disappearing or something.
Could be. Yeah.
I could understand how it could certainly hurt his brand and his image in China, but I think you are vastly over exaggerating the sort of harm he'd be putting himself in if he were to go to China sometime in the future. I can't imagine that because he said Taiwan is a country, they would snatch him up and like grill him or put him in prison for any amount of time.
No. I don't mean that. What I mean is like if he were to say if you say anything negative about the government, there is how you.
But he
could
never
get
mentioned
into
the
trouble.
government.
Well, he didn't. But I'm saying what he's done is he's apologized.
This is your paranoia overtaking
Okay, anyways,
you.
continue.
You're trying to find any reason to say that he's going to get in some serious trouble, and I understand. And I'm saying it might get him into trouble brand wise or business wise, but I don't think this is getting him into any sort of real trouble. I don't think.
Right.
I think maybe the government won't like him, but I don't think. I think that's the end of it because let me read the rest of this quote. I made one mistake. I have to say something very, 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 very important now. I love and respect China and Chinese people. I'm very, very sorry about my mistake. I apologize. I'm very sorry. You must understand that I really respect China and the Chinese people. My apologies. See you. There are more than 5,000 comments on Sina's Weibo apology. People say in Chinese, excuse me. This is one of the quotes, the comments. Please say in Chinese that Taiwan is part of China. Otherwise, we won't accept it, wrote one Weibo user. The message had over 3,200 likes. Now, I could see this part being heavily influenced by the Chinese government. Once again, that's why I'm saying I'm not saying he's getting into trouble, but I could certainly see, like, for example, the comments that might be pushed to the top might not just be fully based off of the popularity of the comment, but what a certain group of people might expect from him. I could see that. Here's another one. Then you should say Taiwan is China's, wrote another user. What you have said in the video is nonsense. You can't take benefits from China, but meantime do things to harm China's interest. Others supported Sina with one person writing, I like you. I think you truly love China. Don't talk carelessly again about China's territory and sovereignty. I love how that's like the support. That's essentially the same tone as the other comments.
Yep,
it's the exact same thing, except for the person mentioned that they like him, but they're saying, hey, but the fact that you even mentioned Taiwan as a country is reckless, and don't do that shit again.
Yep.
So yeah,
well, I told you that's one of the things you got to be careful about when you go over there.
But Americans, they see this and they're like, "What a coward! Look at what you do for money."
Oh, you should have seen I've seen some of the comments. It's
like
wild.
how pathetic that you give in to China just because you want to get more millions than you already currently have, which I can understand too. I mean, that's so tough. That's such a tough situation to be in, I don't even want to make it seem like I'd have more integrity than John Cena, because who knows? I've never had tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars on the line in my life. Right. But I feel like if I were to be in John Cena's position and I were to at least do that, that night would not be I would not be happy with myself for a while about the fact that I did that. I feel like a little part of me would be like, wow, this is what you do for, you're a millionaire and you did this just to secure a couple tens to, 100 more million or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but when you're in a position like that, I mean, you have some choices you've got to make. They're not always easy choices.
The NBA gets the similar stuff for that, because it was the Hong Kong situation that they were ignoring. I told you
about the Nike and H&M thing too, right?
I believe you did, but refresh my memory.
It was about they said they were going to boycott buying any cotton from the Xinjiang province, which is where the Uyghur Muslim people are.
But Nike's got their hands in a bunch of sports that are loved around in China as well.
Jordan shoes, bro.
Oh, right.
All the sneakerheads in Nike.
Yeah, Jordans are
in Nike in China. All the sneakerheads. I mean, but I will say, I heard from some of my students, almost it was like the same kind of comments from the Weibo accounts, you shouldn't. What did they say? You shouldn't disrespect or talk ill of China again. Chinese people take it very personally when you say something negative about China, whereas I think Americans a lot of times.
It's so funny that you say
at
that,
least don't,
because nothing negative was said. He just said the country of Taiwan. He never mentioned China. So you keep saying
that's the problem,
he's disrespecting. I mean, to them he is disrespecting
they didn't
China.
Throw the disrespect on their name, bro.
To them he is disrespecting China, but you keep saying that he said something bad about China, and China never came up.
But But I think that might be the
But
issue.
if you bring up Taiwan in the Chinese people's mind, it seems like, oh, China is coming up because Taiwan is China. What are you talking about? That is China.
Right.
That's
right.
that's how they see it.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is that so? Chinese people view it as Taiwan as a territory. Traditionally speaking, Taiwan has always
Is that
been
like
a
the
territory
Puerto Rico
China, is
of
what they say.
China or something? Like the
you could kind of
Puerto
look
Rico
at-
is to the U.S.
You could kind of look at it that way. Sure, you could kind of look at it that way. It's it's a territory.
That's how they
but
see
they
it.
have a democratic government. It's a
Right.
very different way of life. The internet's very different in Taiwan than it is in China.
It's free internet, not free, but open internet is what I mean. Like you have access
Right.
to like
Right.
we do.
You don't have the Great Firewall of China
Right.
blocking all of your
Right.
social media sites and everything else. But
So they actually probably have
yeah.
more rights than people in Puerto Rico, to be honest with you, because
Right.
they have
Right.
because Anyway,
I will say this though, Jared, in terms of rating this apology, this is a trickier one to rate because as
Yes.
an American, as a language teacher, I would give this like a 9 or a 10, to be honest with you. But as someone who has lived in China and knows a little bit about Chinese culture and Chinese people, I would say in the view of a lot of Chinese people, even just based on, and I know not all those social media comments are what everyone believes, but they are, I think, a thought that a lot of people have. So I would say over there, they would rate it probably a 3 or a 4. Maybe a 5 because he's speaking Mandarin.
so you're saying
Maybe.
the speaking Mandarin I can definitely helps. I would say as an American, I would say that helps, but definitely as looking through like the perspective of Chinese people are trying to, I certainly can understand how much they love to see Americans really embrace their culture and take it seriously. I'm gonna rate it from my point of view as an American. It's also a little difficult because it is a translation. So when I see things like very, very, or I apologize, I roll my eyes, But I understand that this is also a translation, so I can't take it as just literal as that.
And it could be that in Mandarin, I mean, that's how they would say it, and it sounds more normal saying it that way.
As an American, I got to take a good number of points off. I got to say 2 or 3 right off the bat, maybe 4, because I know in my mind, I don't think there's any level of sincerity to this. I think this is purely a business decision. I don't think he gives a shit about Taiwan being in their relationship to China. I'm going to be honest with you.
You know what's funny about that though, Jared? Is I think one of the directors of the movie is actually Taiwanese.
That's
as well.
true. That is true. I just saw that. The film, directed by Taiwanese-American Justin Lin, was released in Hong Kong on May 19th and is to be screened in the U.S. late next month. Anyway, yeah, so he is. Justin Lin is Taiwanese-American. So I honestly don't think he cares about the Taiwanese-Chinese relationship or really knew anything about it before he became...
About them dollar bills.
Before he became, financially involved in his career in China or whatever. There's no integrity there. I feel that's my real problem. I'll give him points because it is in Chinese. That is very impressive. He clearly, as I said before, I'm not saying his Chinese is amazing, but clearly it's good enough where Chinese people can understand him, and
Yeah,
clearly
I
it's
would
good
say
enough
so.
where he's put some real effort into it.
Right. For sure.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I kind of want to give it a 2. I kind of want to give it a 2
All right.
because I have no respect for it.
You're coming in hot today. I like it, Jared. I like
Because
it.
I know that it means nothing to him except for dollar bills, as he said.
Dollar bills. That's fair.
And
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I can't imagine
Okay.
that he's generally like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, oh my gosh, it's generally a mistake because I know Taiwan is part of China. I would never, And then when he goes to some dinner party in the U.S., he's like, yeah, I didn't even know. He's like, he pointed to Taiwan or China on the map, but couldn't point to either of them.
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
So the fact that he did it in Chinese is impressive, and I will say it's always a little bit more. I do also respect when it's a video because I think you can actually see a little bit more of the intention in people's eyes, rather than I think that's a
Right.
little better than the Notes app as well,
I wonder.
or the Notes screenshot.
I wonder if he's actually studying Mandarin or if someone taught him how to just say all that stuff.
Yeah, but
Because I think within 20 to 30 minutes, I think if someone wrote it out and very slowly told you how to say all of that stuff he said, it was what, like 6 or 7 sentences?
sure, but I think that the challenge with it's a minute long. It's a minute. What I played you was only half of it.
Right. So okay, that's
think,
fair. So maybe
I think it was a minute and it's a minute and 8 seconds long. I think the challenge is with Chinese specifically for us Americans is that there's so many nuances regarding tone and pronunciation.
that's
That
true.
for a minute, I think a minute long clip is more difficult than you might think to just like teach someone in 20 minutes or an hour or something like that to get out this. Because listen,
You're right. You're right.
你好，中国，这是赵西娜。我必须说，现在，在速度与激情中
I know he's an actor, but this is pretty good.
我做很多采访
there's no real hesitations.
Yeah, no,
you know,
you're right.
As,
You're right.
As language speakers, one thing that I noticed in our German classes when I came back from Germany and was taking German classes, that the clear sign for me personally of someone that was proficient versus not really proficient was the
fluency, bro.
Was the ums and the pauses that you take. You can always tell where you can talk like this, where we're just communicating in a different language rather than saying like, "Hello, my name is Jared. I come from where you're kind of thinking of each sentence before you say it.
Right.
This is
第一个采访，我有一个错误，所有人问我，如果我可以用中文，
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
he's using
it's,
ends,
it's
but
pretty
I think
damn
this is-
good.
I think it's pretty good.
很多资讯 information。
information.
所以
You're right.
很多采访
You're right. No, I don't know
很多
how
information
good his
I
pronunciation
mean, he's an actor,
is.
but he's no Meryl
It's not
Streep.
bad.
Let's put it that way.
right, right. You're right, though. It's not bad.
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah.
I think I would actually, and I'd imagine because they mentioned that Chinese people are very excited about the fact that he's been learning. I'd imagine this is not the first time he's shown his Chinese skills. I just don't pay any attention to John Cena, but I'm sure he's made other posts in the past of him speaking Chinese. I would imagine. I would because they did specifically say in the article that Chinese people are impressed by it, and I can't imagine that they're saying that based off of the one time they heard it. It made it seem like this is a thing that they've known that he's been trying to do in general. So I think this is just the first we'd heard of it because we don't pay that close attention to John Cena.
Right. I think you're right about that.
So I'm going to give it a pretty low score, about 2.5 to 3, because I'm going to give it a 3 because once again, video and the fact that he does it in Chinese, I'll put that at a 3. But I don't think there's really any real integrity to it.
That's fair. That is fair. Well, buddy, I think you might know what time it might be.
I do. It's 8:02. Is that what you're asking? I'm just kidding. It's the untranslatable o'clock. Is what it is.
There we go. Give us some of those untranslatables, which are idioms, proverbs, sayings, axioms that don't always translate on a one-to-one basis into English. And I today, Jared, actually have something a little different planned for you. I want to give you some phrases that were used around the time when Memorial Day became a holiday. And I want to see if you can decipher what some of these mean. What do you think?
I'm down with that. Could you first let me know when Memorial Day became a holiday?
So, well, officially, so let me say, I guess we're going to talk about historically where the origins began, not the official holiday.
Sure.
The official holiday was, I think, actually in the 60s.
What's the time period you're talking about?
The 1880s.
Okay. Oh, I
So
see.
it's after the Civil War.
Right. Okay.
After the Civil War.
No
All right,
N-words,
Jared,
by
first-
the way. If you give me any N-words on this, I'm going to be very angry.
Oh, well, all 6 of my untranslatables today only have N-words
I mean,
in them,
I
Jared.
just imagine. I wish we had access to these. Maybe we could do somehow. But I imagine there were a lot of untranslatables back then around the N-word.
For sure. Probably.
A lot of very mean and hurtful untranslatables that are also probably hilarious, if we're being completely honest.
I mean, some of the best insults are also the most hurtful. Let's be honest, Jared. All right, well, let me get you started today, Jared, with this one. In the soup.
In the soup? Mm-hmm. I mean, that sounds like someone's drunk. Someone's in the soup.
Will I get you in the soup if I bring you home after midnight, Jared?
Get me in the soup? Is that like in the sheets? Is that like you're trying to bang?
No.
Will you get me in the soup if you bring me home after midnight? That certainly sounds like you're trying
Will
to
you get in the soup if I bring you home after midnight?
take a bath.
Imagine we're in high school and you're my prom date. Will you be in the soup if I bring you home after midnight?
Oh, in trouble?
There you go.
Ah, okay.
In trouble. In the
trouble.
soup.
In the soup. Oh, you're gonna get boiled. I see. It's like almost like you're getting like roasted. I guess roasted is more like someone's insulting you, but it's like grilled. Your parents are grilling
Right.
you. That's what I mean
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
That's almost the same thing as in the soup.
Yeah, you're in the soup.
Yeah.
You're getting grilled for sure. Well, Jared, what do you know what the word druthers means?
If I had my druthers, Chad, I'd say you're a very
Yep.
cautious traveler.
Okay, and can you translate that into the layman's English, Jared?
No, I've just heard it in context a lot. Druthers,
Okay.
like if I knew what was good for me. No, that's not it.
Not quite.
If
no.
I had my
if
druthers,
you have your
if I were to
druthers-
guess,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I would say that's accurate. If I had my choice or my bet or my guess, yeah,
okay,
I would say,
okay.
yeah. If I had my druthers,
I've definitely as someone that has, I imagine a place I've probably heard this word a lot would be Golden Girls. I could imagine hearing it on Golden Girls.
Sure.
Or I Love Lucy. I could. These sort of shows is where I think of the term druthers. If I had my druthers, I imagine a Southern person saying it too. Anyway, go ahead, please keep
Oh,
going.
for sure. This is a good one. I like this one. The tube.
The tube, the TV, the boob tube.
No.
Oh, okay.
They didn't have. Did they have TVs in the 1880s?
No, they did not. No, they certainly did not.
They did have a different type of technology, though.
Oh, the radio.
Not quite. You're getting warmer, though.
The phone.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, the tube was a slang term back in the day, I guess, for a phone.
I wonder how phones worked back then. You
Well,
certainly
they must have had tubes in them.
probably
Just like a TV did to
speaker,
power
like a
them.
speaker.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
speakers had some sort of tube in them as well. And I imagine, but I meant more like I imagine back then was also the time where they had like operators. You had to call like a central area, and they're like, "Hey, connect me to blah blah blah, Sir Druthers." All right, do you have any more?
Right. Oh, yeah. Oyster.
Pearls. Damn it.
Here's the example. Horace set me up with a beautiful blind date. Quite an oyster. That Horace.
Ugly. Oh, beautiful.
They say here a jolly good fellow. Whatever the
Jolly
hell that
good
means.
fellow.
A jolly good fellow.
I guess I was thinking too much of pearls.
Okay. That's fair.
Check out this
Here's
fine
one
oyster
that-
here.
Here's one that I think is still pretty commonly used to nowadays. Cinch.
Oh, I'll take care of that in a cinch. Is that what it is? Like in a hot sack in a minute, quickly?
Or you would say more so like that was a cinch.
Oh, right. That's true. It's something that was quick and easy. That's a cinch.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
It's something that you hear or that most people probably know, but I would also argue that nobody says.
You think
I
so?
feel like when's the last time you heard someone say that out of their mouth that not in a TV show?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's
I never
true.
hear
That's a good
anybody
point.
say that. I just know it. I feel like I mostly know it from like cartoons. I feel like it's a cartoon term.
Yeah, I think
An
you're
old
yeah,
cartoon from
you're
our
probably
time
right.
or earlier.
Right.
Like in Scooby Doo, I
that's-
feel like is where I would hear that.
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Okay, let me give you one last one because I think this is a funny one.
Okay.
To skunk.
Not. I assume it has nothing to do with farting.
It does not. Although that would make sense, but no.
I think of farting. I think of marijuana. People say it smells like skunk, but I'd imagine they weren't talking about smoking weed in the 1800s, really.
Probably not.
Skunk to skunk. Is it like to run away, to skedaddle,
No.
to freak out, like to get nervous,
So
scared?
Jared, I let you take a little joyride in the van a couple weekends ago, and say I had $5 on the dash, and then I take you for a ride, and then after you leave, I realize my $5 has disappeared. Text you, I go, "Hey, did you skunk me, Jared?"
Oh, to steal from someone?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. It means to
Skunk steal?
to steal or cheat, swindle.
I don't think of skunks as cheating or swindling creatures.
Yeah, I don't either, but maybe they had more experience with skunks back in the day.
And this is how untranslatables
skunk
evolved
population.
too. You know,
Right?
Well, I guess when I think of skunks, I mostly think of Pepe Le Pew, which is a gross French skunk.
Right. All right, let me give you a
Here
final
we go,
one
once
because
again.
this is my favorite.
Can't get out of the habit of saying one last one. to can you.
1880s untranslatable for you, Jared.
Okay.
Southpaw.
Left-hand fighter. That's a left-handed fighter.
Or just left-handed, but yes.
Okay. But southpaw specifically used in boxing.
Right. Well, I think the term. Oh, you're right. Actually, you're right. That makes a whole lot of sense. Okay. Anyways, moving on, Jared. Let's talk about Memorial Day, shall we? Mm-hmm. So, Jared, we've talked about before on this podcast, and sometimes I laugh at you, but today it could not ring more true, Jared, that Memorial Day has a lot to do with slavery and the Civil War.
Yeah, you laugh at me because you don't take slavery seriously, and you don't believe me that this whole everything about the United States has something to do with slavery.
That is not true. That is true, or a vast majority, 99.9% for sure. And so I think it's so fascinating. I did not actually realize that Memorial Day was started as a holiday to honor the dead from the Civil War. And actually, I believe it started
the white's dead, by the way, just to be clear.
Yeah, right. It started in the on the Confederate side, the South, and it actually led to, Jared, which I found kind of scary, but also not so surprising, was it led to the spread of this idea of the lost cause. Do you know what that is?
Sounds racist, but please.
Incredibly racist. So the lost cause
I don't know what
is this idea of minimizing the idea of the Civil War was fought over slavery. So a lot of Southerners try to paint the picture that it wasn't about slavery, it was about this and that.
States' rights.
Exactly. And so that lost cause was kind of a rallying cry around this Memorial Day, I guess, way back in the day. And it did become an official holiday, or at least recognized by the South in 1866. And then 2 years later, it was recognized in the North.
So it's more like, let's not focus on why we fought this war. Let's focus on the fact that we lost a lot of good men, and that we America united as a country, and
Stays rocks.
and that had nothing to do with the South losing their slaves, and being angry about it.
Right. But the other interesting thing about Memorial Day, though, Jared, is that Memorial Day gives us an insight into how culturally our country has mourned and viewed the loss of soldiers and their own people, which I do think is interesting because in a lot of other countries around the world, they have something similar. Like a lot of countries in Europe, they don't call it Memorial Day, but they call it Victory Day, which is November 11th, the date of the armistice of World War II or the Great War.
That explains to me a little bit how we get this this hero worship of the military. And I'm not saying, because it is like this idea of like, hey, don't pay attention to what's being fought or what we've done to other countries or other people. It's all about how the sacrifice that these people make. It's almost like a all right, this is, we lost a lot of good people, but it's like, well, what was going on that caused that? Well, don't worry about that. It's about the people, and it is sort of like, it does feel like it's a lot of like, it helps with the propaganda a little bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I will say this, Jared, and I made this a point in my notes to mention during today's episode. I do think that as a nation, Americans, we are the most propagandized, I think, in maybe not in the entire world, but we are one of the top 5 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the military has a large marketing budget.
Right. Well, and the thing is, too, is if you say anything...
Or just America in general has a large marketing budget, I guess I should say.
Well, and we love our military in America. We spend billions upon billions upon billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about all that in the U.S. is that I think we're so propagandized that if you say anything negative about the military, you're kind of viewed by a lot of people as this like crazy, oh, you hate America, kind of, person, which I don't think is true.
No, I agree with you. You know what's also, yeah, no, of course it's not true. I mean, because that is a huge sort of point from conservatives, that anytime like there's like criticism of the United States is because you hate America. Like you can't criticize a place that you also like is ridiculous. But then I think there's also the sort of the or hypocrisy, I should say. At least, when have you ever experienced any sort of Memorial Day celebration in your life? Have you ever, and I don't mean a barbecue, but I mean like any sort of very specific, like this is the moment where we're going to celebrate the like military people that we've lost. We all have maybe we don't all have military people that we've lost in our family. A lot of us do, but we all do have military. I'd say just about most people in the world have like some military people in their family, and even still, like there's no
or a close friend or something for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's like, but still, when have you ever seen any like serious celebration
parades
about? Is that what that is?
When
have you ever seen? I've never seen a Memorial Day parade though.
There's tons of them.
I've seen like fireworks shows, I guess, where like they have a bunch of gathering. Is that a celebration? I guess so. I guess I always found it ironic that the celebration for dead soldiers is blowing shit up.
Exactly. That's the weird thing.
It's like I can't imagine even soldiers enjoying this. This seems horribly traumatic.
Right. Well, for sure. Yeah, especially if they have PTSD, which I think most soldiers probably have. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the crazy thing too is that with Memorial Day, it's supposed to be a somber day of remembrance for those who passed. Like my uncle died in Vietnam, and so I do think that I don't mean this
in any sort of sense at all, but just as an example, do you guys specifically make a point on Memorial Day to like do some sort of memory of your uncle?
We don't, but we should.
Yeah,
I think we should. I think that would be a good thing.
And once again, I certainly don't mean any offense by that, because I think that's the vast majority of the United States.
Oh no, dude, I'm not offended. I agree with you though, and I think it's a good suggestion, because I think there's a lot of people out there that, even as silly as this sounds, even if it's a minute or two of silence to reflect and because once again, this is also what we're told as kids and all this stuff, but there are a lot of people out there who did pay the ultimate sacrifice for their country.
Yeah, that's true.
And whether or not you agree with why they were at war, or whether or not you like our government or not, which, I think it's all valid reasons to be critical of all that stuff. I think we can still take a moment to pay some respects to some of those people, for sure.
Sure. My birthday is on Labor Day weekend, or is not on Labor Day weekend, but it tends to be around Labor Day time. Occasionally it's on Labor Day. Occasionally it's a couple days before or after, whatever. But for the longest time, even though my birthday tends to always be around Labor Day, I would still get Labor Day and Memorial Day mixed up and be That's funny. Is Memorial Day the September one, or is Labor Day the September one? Because to me, they're just days off. And you know what Americans do love, or anyone loves, I should say, not Americans?
A long weekend.
A day off, especially a long weekend.
That too.
But a day off in general. And I think that is what is mostly celebrated on Memorial Day. The fact that we have a day off.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Jared, because I think it's important to even straight up mention for the non-American listeners out there. Memorial Day does fall on the fourth Monday in May, or the last Monday, I should say, in May, which this month it will be,
the 31st.
The 31st. So you're right, though, Jared. The funny thing is, currently, Memorial Day seems to be a holiday that is more about like barbecuing and kind of bringing in the summer. Summer is almost here. A lot of the schools are almost done.
It's claimed to be the unofficial start to summer. I remember we used to live in a neighborhood, and they had a communal pool that the neighborhood could use, and Memorial Day weekend was the opening of the pool, and it was that, and I think that's a common opening to stuff like pools because of that. unofficial start to summer. Chad can't hear me because he just unplugged his headphones, but he's back now. So yeah, it is the unofficial start to summer. And it makes sense to me because even though I think summer starts is like June 21st or something like that, like it's been hot for at least here in Michigan for a couple of weeks at this point.
Oh, for sure.
And it feels like we're already at the point where it feels like summer. And as you mentioned, this is usually when school starts to end. So, or is usually around the time when school ends.
We're getting close. Yeah, so the next couple of weeks.
Some schools end around this time. I think I think some schools certainly end around this time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, and so that's quote unquote summer vacation. What sort of we're as we already made it clear, we're certainly not memorializing veterans on Memorial Day. There's also Veterans Day. Oh no, it's not veterans. Excuse me. We're not memorializing veterans. We're memorializing those we've lost in combat or in various military situations. So I guess they are veterans, but veterans that have passed, that have died.
Correct. And it began with the Civil War. Mm-hmm. And then way, way, way later, they actually began to include all American soldiers who had fallen in combat.
That's nice of them.
Regardless of the war.
That's nice of them. Yeah. If it was just the Civil War, there's no way I almost wouldn't even want to take the day off. That's a stretch. I would still take the day off, but that holiday would make me so mad if we were still just claiming to celebrate those that we lost during. Especially since I would know that it's like we all know this didn't start with any sort of memory to all the black soldiers that were lost. So some I'm sure there are some more Memorial Day sort of facts we can get into, but I just want to know, as just for the people, what us Americans, what we would tend to be doing on Memorial Day.
A barbecue.
Barbecue, yes. Outside.
Some burgers and dogs.
With the grill. Burgers and dogs.
In Michigan, definitely on a lake somewhere.
Yes, on a lake,
swim,
on a
or chilling on a pontoon boat.
Yes, some sort of Jimmy Buffett or, what do you guys listen to?
What do you mean, you guys? What do you mean, you
Journey,
people?
You guys love Journey. That Sweet Caroline
Mr.
song.
Brightside by the Killers. Sure, Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.
That'll get a good six
Gets
plays.
all the white people
on on Labor Day. It also
Memorial
involves
Day, but yeah.
yes. See, oh my gosh! See exactly. It also involves copious amounts of alcohol. Alcohol intake
Bud Light,
is huge.
Miller Light.
Yeah, all sorts
Dos Equis Light, Corona Light.
Only light beers, though. We're respectful to the sacrifice by only drinking light beers. So that's our sacrifice. Right. There's also, actually, I did not realize this, but when I typed in Memorial Day, and I saw a lot of information about Memorial Day sales and deals. I mean, you obviously would be aware of that. I could have just asked you.
This is America, Jared. Actually, I did not even think about that.
You didn't know that?
I need to do some online shopping.
Yeah, now's the time.
Sorry, dude, we need to end today's episode. The deals are ending soon, get going.
The deals are ending soon. No,
can I get me an F-150 Lightning for cheap? Memorial Day sale?
I did not realize, but I didn't realize because I'm not someone that shops like that. Like, I'm not a huge deal seeker. Honestly, I'm not a huge shopper. But as soon as I saw the most of my searches be filled with Memorial Day sale, Memorial Day deal, in my head I'm like, of course, this is America. Of course,
that's right. Capitalism, baby.
Of course, any holiday company's gonna be like, how can we get some more money out of this?
Oh, without a doubt.
Hey, memorialize those that we lost in war by buying a new 82-inch screen TV for 20% off.
That's
Come in and get a deal on a new Ford Explorer with a new special Memorial Day special.
And we'll throw in a mini flag you can put up so you can fly an American flag. That's right.
Which, by the way, for people not in America, is a real deal at certain places. I have heard of legitimate
a flag, a gun, and a Bible,
giving you a flag, gun, and a Bible with the sale of a Chevy Silverado or Dodge Ram or something like that.
What else do you need?
It's the essentials. That's the American kit right there: a pickup truck, flag, gun, and Bible. That's all you need. Mm-hmm. And you can get that for a great deal on Memorial Day.
You better believe it.
So, do you have any more?
Can I give you a little history lesson, Jared?
Because
you and the people.
Because to me, I essentially went through everything that people do on Memorial Day. Get drunk.
Yep.
eat a lot of grilled meats and buy shit.
Watch, and some people
fireworks.
do check out the parades.
I've
and the
never seen a
fireworks.
Memorial Day parade really, but certainly there are definitely
Hey.
fireworks shows.
You know what, Jared? Don't put it on the people that you never leave your house.
Do you enjoy?
Just because you never leave your
That's
house,
true. It's a
does
great
not
point.
mean
It's a
that
great
things
point.
aren't
They're
happening
certainly
outside your house,
happening
Jared.
just because. Yeah, listen, I've never seen one. They don't exist.
It's like they start going on the street. Wait, we don't see Jared
All right, pack
on
it
the
up,
sidewalk. We
pack it
better
up.
turn around. Yep, go home.
Are you a fan of fireworks shows?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think they're kind of overrated, but
I think
maybe I'm starting to get old, Jared.
I think I've always kind of thought they were a little overrated, but I will say this: it's a great it's a great excuse to bring some beers to a park and a cooler and hang out with people.
Oh yeah.
But I'm certainly not like seeking them out really. But I've done them a good amount of times with family. Where you as I said, bring a cooler of some booze and you just sit out and it's a nice hangout. It is a nice hangout experience, I'll say. But I'm certainly
It's hard to beat.
I'm certainly not
Under
like
the stars with a nice Bud Light.
exactly because as we said, that's the sacrifice we take. It's to show our respect for those that we've lost in
right.
wars.
Pour a little-
We'll only
little bit
drink
out,
light
you know?
beers.
That's right. All right, Jared, let me give you all you and our listeners a quick little history lesson about Memorial Day. So as we mentioned, it does occur on the last Monday in May, which this year will be May 31st. Do you know what it was originally known as, Jared?
I do actually.
What's it originally known as?
Okay, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I believe what was it? Declaration Day.
You're close. Decoration Day.
Decoration. Jeez.
Do you know why? Why?
No, I don't actually. I do not know.
The reason why is because people would often go to cemeteries, hold memorials, and decorate a lot of the graves with flowers and other stuff.
See, that makes sense. That as a holiday idea, that makes sense to me because that is a proper memorial of those that you've lost in war.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I might have a couple family members of mine that were they didn't die in combat, but they were in the military. Their graves are actually not too far from here. Maybe I'll have to. Anyways,
I don't even know if I have. I mean, I certainly probably do. I'm a black person in America, so at some point, whether it be the Civil War or some war after that, I'm sure I had some family member at some point die in combat. But I don't know any. Like, I don't know of any like off the top of my head. That like I know obviously of family members that were in the military, but I don't know any that have died. But I'm sure there must have been one at some point. I have a giant family, and they've been in America since the inception, I'd imagine, because I'm black. So I'd imagine so.
So all right, so some early observances of Memorial Day. So the Civil War ended in 1865. And believe it or not, it claimed more lives than any other war or conflict in U.S. history and required the establishment of the country's first national cemeteries. By the late 1860s, Americans in various towns and cities had begun holding springtime tributes to these countless fallen soldiers, decorating their graves with flowers and reciting prayers. Now, it is unclear exactly where the tradition originated. Many communities may have independently initiated the memorial gatherings, and some records state that one of the earliest Memorial Day commemorations was actually organized by a group of formerly enslaved people in Charleston, South Carolina, less than a month after the Confederacy surrendered in 1865. Nevertheless, in 1966, the federal government declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day, which I believe is where that big grave is.
So what you're telling me is black people came up with the idea for Memorial Day, and then white people stole it.
White people stole it. That's right, Jared.
Of course.
We pulled an Elvis. Pulled an old Elvis on you.
Of course. It's like, oh, this is a good idea.
Right. But yeah, so it was called Decoration Day because it wasn't an anniversary of any particular battle.
Right. It was decorating it was like, oh, we're going to use this to decorate essentially to memorialize, which is what the name turned into.
Exactly. Now, the interesting thing, though, Jared, is I guess the term Memorial Day it took longer for this holiday to stick with people because a lot of people actually referred to it as Decorative Day. So that's also kind of an interesting fun fact.
That is a very important part of branding. Is that when you change the name of a product, a popular product, you are kind of starting from scratch. You have to build up that recognition, that awareness, and that takes time. I can also imagine.
That's
How I don't know what it was like back then, but Americans are so attached to stuff that they really don't know anything about. They just know it's American. Like like statues, Confederate statues and stuff. People know nothing about these statues, but they have these connections. Like, oh, you can't. This is history.
Tearing down my history.
This is history. I was like, could you? I'm like, I don't even think most of these people could explain the history. Yet they're so like. So I can imagine
my heritage.
I can imagine it would be hard to give up a name that you've known for a while. It's like, oh, what's this? Memorial Day? That's dumb. What are these liberals with this new name? Because what was wrong with Decoration Day? This is what's wrong with cancel culture.
That's right. We're attacking our American holidays, ruining everything.
Oh man.
But yes. So, So this holiday now, though, Jared, as we mentioned, does honor all American soldiers who had fallen in war. So during World War II, Vietnam War, Korean War,
not World
Iraq
War I,
and Afghanistan, World War One. Okay. Let's see here, Revolutionary War. I guess. Do they count because it was before the Civil War? Do they count?
Do they count the Cold War?
I mean, did Americans die in the Cold War?
You're saying there were no spies or secret ops groups doing missions that might have died during the Cold War? Just because it was the Cold War doesn't mean there wasn't any sort of physical conflict.
Let me ask you this. Does a spy count as a soldier?
But I bet you there were military groups, like maybe Navy SEALs or something like that, or so whatever, like some super secret, high level, military group that would be called for some, super secret mission. This is a very specific example. Do they include military people that were killed on
probably
super secret?
If they were military and they fell in combat, I think they probably
missions that are, for the record, off the books because the Russian government can't know about them. Do they count those? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Let me ask you some questions,
Chad.
Do you know any Memorial Day traditions?
I told you.
And I don't mean you go to the barbecue and watch fireworks and get shit-faced on your Bud Light.
Going to baseball games.
Well, that is not a federally recognized tradition.
Is there? I imagine a tradition is maybe like the president gives some sort of speech about them pretending to care.
Probably, yeah, that's probably one. One that I was thinking though was actually
flying the flag at half mast.
The flag. Well, so what they do is they fly the flag at half mast, and then I believe I don't remember if it was at noon or at 3:00. They raise the flag up again, and then I think they bring it back down to half mast. But the reason why they raise it up again is to signify that we need to carry on and continue the fight that our fallen brothers and sisters.
Doesn't mean we're out. So it's so
we ain't out of this fight, baby.
We still rise. What is it? Well, it's not we still rise.
Something like that.
The Maya Angelou poem. It's not we still rise. That doesn't seem right. Something about rising.
I don't think so.
Still we rise. That's what it is. Still we rise. Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's a little too much for me, though. Like all this flag movement. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like I've been seeing flags at half-mast way more often these days. I don't know if that's the only time I pay attention, but I feel like just on all the time I see flags at half-mast these days. And I'm like, I don't even know what the rule is anymore.
The world's an ugly place and sad place, Jared.
Maybe it's a pandemic thing.
Flags at half-mast. Maybe.
Do you have any more fun facts you want to share with me, Chad?
I don't. Okay. So I think we can call it for today.
Yes.
But I definitely do plan, though, Jared, on doing some reflection on Memorial Day. And I'd like to find out some more about my uncle. So I'm going to have to ask my dad about that. And
do you think you think our lack of celebration of Memorial Day is, I don't want to say shameful, but like, Sorry, I gotta keep forgetting to put on Do Not Disturb.
One of Jared's ladies is hitting him up again.
Hilarious that you said that because it was my mom that texted me. Jesus Christ! Now I got distracted. What the hell was I saying? Oh, do you
were
think that
Is it shameful?
Is it shameful our lack of memorializing on Memorial Day?
Well, I think, Jared, here's the beautiful thing about being American.
Yes. I see what you're
I
going.
think you know
and I
exactly
agree.
where I'm going with this. Yep. You
Please
can already tell.
Tell the people, though, that don't
Well, let
know
me
that
tell
you're
the
gonna
people.
say.
I'll tell
I'm
the
an American,
people,
so I know
Jared.
exactly what you're going to say.
That's right. What I want to say is that I think there probably are a lot of people out there who do a healthy bit of some type of remembrance for fallen family members. But I think there are a lot of people out there that, god dang, Jared's just getting blown up.
Was that me? Where's that coming
That's
from?
you.
Where's that coming
that's not
from?
me. Is it? That's not me. I don't think.
I have no idea where that's coming from. If it is me, all right.
Anyway,
I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry,
So,
people. I don't know what's happening.
I would say it's. I think we should all take a moment. I think to be thankful that we do not have to be a fallen soldier because of the sacrifices a lot of these men and women made. But at the same time, for a lot of Americans, I will say this too, Jared. I think Americans are some of the most overworked people sometimes in some regards, and they need an extra day to relax, spend time with friends, recharge, do some grilling, go pontoon boating, do your Bud Lighting, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
So I think I'm not here to wag the finger at my fellow brother and sister Americans, but I think it is certainly good to at least take a moment to reflect, but also enjoy your beer and your dog and your burger and have a happy and healthy Memorial Day.
That's the beauty of America. You're free to do whatever you want,
To some extent, but yes, for sure.
Sure, of course. Of course. That's a
All right.
great point.
Well, let us know how you plan on celebrating Memorial Day coming up just around the corner at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. You can slide into those DMs on Twitter, untranslatable1, the number 1. Check us out on Instagram and on YouTube, Untranslatable Podcast. And lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, dziękujemy, muchas gracias, shishi, and do svidania. Dude, I'm so bummed. I was going to go camping this weekend. All the spots are taken. All of them.
What do you mean? Oh, because it's Memorial Day weekend?
All of them. Yep, they're all gone. Taken.
You can't find... You've looked at, I imagine, multiple places, obviously.
Partial. All I've been able to find so far are partial. And I'm not going to share a campground with somebody.
Yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose, especially if you have neighbors like you did the first time, like Max running around.
Right. Your buddy.
Is there any sort of...
buddy Max.
Is there any... No, it's impossible to camp without going to a campsite, I imagine.
I mean, to actually have a campfire,
Right,
all
to
that
be in the
stuff.
woods.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But
Makes sense. I
What
mean, you
can you do?
probably should have been more prepared than trying to find it on
I should have.
Tuesday
Which is
before,
why,
Monday
Jared,
before.
which is why I've decided this summer, when I have weekends and take a couple days off here and there, because I did find out I have a lot more vacation time than I thought I did, which was a nice surprise.
How do you not know?
Like a week longer. Well, because I read the thing in the handbook that said a certain amount, and then I...